Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is Yes or No, and I am coming to you not live from the Alps. Simon's looking at me like I'm doing this wrong. Today, I'm sharing with you a story that has a lot of twists and turns, just like this path does. It's crazy. So this story that I'm going to tell you happened to me about 2 days ago. I don't know if I've established this with you before, but YouTube has a way of getting quite lonely. No big deal or anything. Oh, speaking of lonely, Zemon's here. Should have introduced him. Say hi, Zemon.
Moin.
I think it was like Thursday or Friday. I was getting quite bored of just existing, so I thought, you know what? I'm going to go and do something productive. And so I set out on a quest to get macaroons. And so naturally what I did was I started walking outside to catch the bus. As I was waiting for said bus, like I told you, life gets pretty lonely. So I picked up my phone and I called my mother. As I was calling my mom, I looked around and, I saw this older woman, maybe like 40 or 50. Oh, you guys got to check this out. Told you there would be twists and turns in this path.
Sorry.
Just as there will be twists and turns in the story, and that's my very supportive boyfriend back there laughing at me falling. This is the opposite of careful, carrying my camera and just walking. But anyway, so as I picked up my phone to call my mom, I noticed that there was this woman standing in front of me, older, maybe like 50s or 60s, and all I thought was, wow, she's wearing a very nice cardigan, and it immediately made me want to update my wardrobe. But I didn't really think too much of it, and I just started to walk on the bus. And, being an American abroad, I am aware of every single stereotype under the sun that exists for Americans in foreign places. And I don't know if you guys are aware, but one of the stereotypes that exists is we Americans talk too loudly when we're in places, when we're out eating, when we're out making friends, whatever. So I was trying to talk at what I considered to be pretty normal talking volume. But I mean, you guys hear my voice, right? Like, it projects, right? So the only way I can really talk quiet is if I'm kind of whispering, but then you kind of start to sound a little bit weird on the phone. So I was just like having this normal conversation with my mom, and I was talking about stuff that I wanted to change in the world. I'm like, yeah, I would really love to help with the cause of like global warming. And then all of a sudden, the bus starts to turn a different direction. Plot twist. And I started freaking out because I've ridden this bus maybe, 50, 100 times. So I'm like, oh shoot. I'm like, I gotta get out of here. So, hold on. Pause break while we're in the dark. Da-na-na-na. Very spooky, very spooky. I really can't believe I'm doing this with a camera in my hand. But so I jump out of this bus, and the woman with the cardigan follows and jumps right in front of me while I'm still on the phone. And she looks at me and she says, "Thank God." And I was about to be like, I know, right? Thank God our bus just stopped so that we could get off. That's crazy. It went the wrong direction. But then she continued and she went, "Thank God I finally got off that bus because you were being so rude, talking, and here's where I started to get a little offended. First I was just taken aback, right? Because I was still on the phone with my mom. But then I started to get a little offended because she started saying, "Here in Germany, we don't do that. Here in Germany, we don't talk." And I thought that was really ironic because she was standing in a bike lane, and I thought, well, here in Germany, we don't stand in bike lanes. But my brain didn't connect those two quickly enough. And I hung up with my mom and I said, "Sorry, Mom, I gotta deal with something right now." Because, this woman just kept saying, "Here in Germany, here in Germany," like I wasn't meant to be there. And so I kind of wanted her to know that, I live here too. And, here in Germany, I would prefer to feel safe in my own country and not feel like I'm going to get verbally assaulted by somebody for, just existing on a bus. And, I thought about it. I'm like, isn't this normally what people do? People walk onto public buses all the time. They talk on public buses. As long as you're not being obnoxious, there shouldn't be anything wrong. So I hung up the phone. But as soon as I hung up the phone, it's almost like the woman wanted nothing to do with me. It's like she only seemed to want to be like self-righteous and like yell at me and go along and be like, I did a good deed for the day. But she didn't want to acknowledge that I was an actual human being who she herself, ironically, had just been a little rude to. So she started walking with her back to me for maybe 30, 40 seconds. And, you know, I just kept following her. I said, excuse me, ma'am, I just wish you would have, I wish you would have been a little nicer to me. And finally, she engaged me in conversation and we started talking about it. And she was just indignant. Like, she just kept yelling at me until I said, you know what? I'm sorry that I disturbed your peace and quiet. I just wish in the future you would have been a little kinder to me and letting me know. Right? Because that's the thing. If she had just let me know kindly that she was having maybe a bad day and she just wanted a little more peace and quiet, I would have totally understood, been a little more quiet for her, maybe even turned off my phone completely. She actually, after talking to me for a while, went from being totally aggressive to kind of like passive and embarrassed, because I think she realized, oh dang, this is just another human being. And so, she left me. I called up Zeman and maybe did, what I do sometimes when I'm trying to figure out problems and when I feel bad about making other people's days worse, I shed some tears. And then Zeman came and met me out in the city, and here's where the real plot twist comes. So we get back on a bus to head home, and I'm a little bit puffy-eyed, so I don't want to sit around like anybody, and I sat far in the back, but I continued talking, right? So here I was, an American on a bus, talking. And at the very end of that bus ride, this girl comes up to me and she says, looks at me dead in the eye and she says, I'm sorry, but are you yes or no? And I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, what a time to meet a subscriber when my eyes are all puffy. And I just had a horrible experience. But then she was so kind, right? She was like, yeah, no worries, and I watch your videos, and just so nice. Like the absolute opposite of what I had experienced on the bus going out to the city. I'm not positive. I don't think she was German, but I couldn't really tell. If you're watching, I couldn't really tell what nationality you were from your accent. Oh, I found the path, baby. But then I got off the bus, and I did a lot of thinking. Because on one bus, I had completely ruined one woman's day with my voice. And then on another bus, my voice let a girl know that she was actually subscribed to me on YouTube, and my voice actually made someone's day on a bus. And I said, wow, how weird that just my sheer existence can have such completely different effects. And I had a tough time piecing together what the moral of this story was, but I think it's this. I think it's that you should not be afraid of existing, right? Like, your presence is welcome wherever your presence is. As long as you're not overly stepping on other people's liberties or whatever, then don't be afraid to just be, right? And the way other people react to you, you can't predict it. You just can't predict it. Some people will love you exactly the way you are, and some people are gonna hate you just for being you. So I think that's the moral I took out of it. Also, I took out of it slightly, nationalistic thing about how we probably shouldn't be so mean to people across borders, because we don't know what their stories are or what they were trying to do for the day. Maybe they were just trying to be a little less lonely. Or maybe even that woman had a horrible day and I just happened to be the thing, like the straw that broke the camel's back. Okay, I'm getting off track now. Not literally, metaphorically. I have another insane example of this, super related, from just a couple days ago. So, oh yikes, twists and turns. So, I was headed to Berlin on a Flixbus. No worries, I wasn't calling anybody and talking for hours on a chartered bus. That is rude. But I was like 5 minutes before the departure time, I got onto this bus so late, and I looked around and I'm like, no, like every single pair of seats had somebody in it. And I thought, I'm gonna ruin somebody's day by sitting down next to them. Like, because all people want when they go on these 8-hour long bus trips is to have a little bit of, freedom to stretch their arms, freedom to stretch their legs. And I just plopped myself down next to one girl and I said, like, hey, you mind if I sit here? And actually, funnily enough, she was another subscriber of mine. So just when I thought I was ruining somebody's day by sitting down next to them, I was actually sort of making someone's day again. Yeah, so you just never know. You just never know. So try and be the best you can be, and then after that, don't sweat the small stuff. I'm gonna go now, because I don't think I'm in the small stuff anymore. I'm like in snow, and if I fall off of this, well, I'm dead, and there will be no more sweating for me.
You should show the top, though.
Oh yeah, when we get to the top, we'll show you like everything that looks gorgeous. Maybe we'll vlog a little bit more along the way. No more story though, that's the end of the story. Now just like check out our Alps. Okay guys, so we're halfway up at the plateau, and we would normally go all the way up. I don't even know if you can see it. There's like a little cross at the top of the hill, but there's so much snow to get there. Check this. What is that? What is that? We're probably gonna end it here, but I just wanted to say, even when Munich is being crazy on its buses and sometimes with its people, the amazing thing about Munich is that in 1 hour you can drive out and be right here. So even if sometimes it's hard to just feel like you can be yourself in some cities, this is a place where it's very, very easy to just exist. Alright, enough telling though, I'm just gonna show you. Bye.